All right, let's take a deep dive today. We're headed straight into an Indian forest for a story about rivalry, unexpected friendship.
Ooh,
Wow.
rivalry and friendship.
Yeah, and those hidden gems we sometimes stumble upon, those secret little places.
Yeah, like a hidden oasis.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what our main character Ranji finds. He's new in town, exploring this thick, mysterious forest,
Lots of mystery.
and he comes across the most incredible pool of water.
Not just any pool, though, right?
Right, not the murky kind he knew from his childhood. This one is crystal clear, almost magical.
It's interesting how this idea of hidden oasis is so powerful. It makes me think about secluded beaches, secret gardens, that human need for a personal escape.
Yeah, a place that feels untouched, almost sacred. What do you think draws us to these spaces?
I think it's that sense of discovery, finding something beautiful and unexpected. And for Ranji, this pool is like a treasure he stumbled upon.
But of course there's a catch.
There's always a catch.
Another boy, Suraj, has already claimed it as his own. He's got this whole warrior persona going on, and he's not about to share his territory easily.
The classic territorial clash. It's like we see this everywhere, animals marking their territory, people claiming ownership of spaces.
It's like a primal instinct to protect what we perceive as ours. And Suraj definitely doesn't give Ranji a warm welcome.
More like a challenge.
Yeah, more like a challenge, a test of strength. They go back and forth.
Oh, I bet this is good.
Each one declaring himself warrior and fighter.
This posturing, these labels they throw at each other, it's all about establishing dominance.
Especially at that age, there's this intense pressure to prove yourself, to assert your place.
Have you ever felt that need to prove yourself?
Oh, definitely. And things escalate quickly between these two. It turns into a full-blown fight, punches flying, dust kicking up.
Classic escalation fueled by pride. And often, it's not even about the actual object of the dispute, like the pool in this case.
It's more about the underlying need to assert oneself. And in this case, neither backs down. The fight ends in a stalemate, but you can tell the tension is still there, simmering beneath the surface.
So what happens next? Does Ranji just walk away after that?
So a stalemate, huh? But not really over.
Ranji, he doesn't back down easily. He goes back to the pool.
He does.
He does, but instead of another brawl, he takes a completely different approach.
So a change in tactics. Interesting. What does he do?
It's like he's realizing that brute strength isn't the only way to win.
Yeah, he's figuring out that Suraj, with all that warrior bravado, might have a weakness.
Exactly. So to test the waters, Ranji casually agrees to a swimming challenge.
Oh, this is...
Suraj, all confident, challenges Ranji to swim across the pool. But Ranji has a trick up his sleeve.
What does he do?
He not only swims across, but executes this flawless dive, totally effortless. Leaves Suraj speechless.
Wow, that's a power move.
Yeah.
He showcases a skill Suraj doesn't have.
And it shifts the dynamic completely. It's like he's saying, hey, there's more to me than you think.
And how does Suraj react? Instead of getting defensive, he's actually in awe. He asks Ranji to teach him how to dive.
Wow. So the warrior admitting he doesn't know something and asking for help.
That's a real turning point. And Ranji, being the decent guy he is, agrees to teach him.
So they're going to be diving buddies now.
Well, Suraj, not wanting to be outdone, proposes a trade. Wrestling lessons for diving lessons.
So like a barter system. Skills and knowledge as currency.
Exactly. It reminds us that collaboration, that mutual benefit, it's woven into how we interact.
I love that.
So they start teaching each other. These two rivals turned, well, unlikely collaborators.
That's great. What's it like?
1 minute they're splashing around in the pool trying to master the perfect dive. The next they're grappling on the ground, learning wrestling holds.
They're really bonding over this. What do you think is bringing them together?
I think it's the laughter, the shared vulnerability. They're not just exchanging skills, they're revealing their weaknesses, laughing at their mistakes. And in the process, building a genuine connection.
It's amazing how those things can break down barriers. So where do they go from here?
When we left off, Ranji and Suraj, our rivals turned diving and wrestling buddies, were sharing skills and laughter.
And really building a connection through that vulnerability.
Right. It's amazing how their dynamic completely shifted.
It really shows how a change in perspective can transform things. They went from fighting for ownership to enjoying that shared experience.
And that shared experience leads to a beautiful moment of understanding at the end. The story ends with them officially declaring their friendship.
Oh, wow. So they end up as friends.
They do. And they claim joint ownership of the pool.
So the very thing they were fighting over becomes a symbol of their bond. That's pretty cool.
It really makes you think about how we approach conflict in our own lives.
Yeah.
Could our rivals become our allies?
Could shared challenges lead to deeper connections? It makes you wonder.
Before we wrap up, I think it's worth revisiting that passage where their friendship is solidified.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, here it is. They looked at each other with honest, unflinching eyes, and in that moment, love and understanding were born. "We are friends," said Ranji.
Yeah.
The birds had settled again in their branches, and the pool was quiet and limpid in the shade of the sal trees. "It is our pool," said Suraj. "Nobody else can come here without our permission. Who would dare?" "Who would dare?" said Ranji, smiling with the knowledge that he had won the day.
The shift from my pool to our pool is powerful. It's a move from possessiveness to shared stewardship, which is a much healthier way to approach any relationship.
And there's pride when they say who would dare. But it's not that same arrogant, competitive pride from before. It's a shared pride in their connection.
Exactly. It's interesting how Ranji still feels like he won the day, but his definition of winning has clearly changed. It's not about dominating anymore, it's about building something meaningful.
We started with a conflict over this hidden oasis, but it became so much more.
It reminds us that there's often an opportunity for connection hiding beneath conflict. Sometimes, letting go of that need to win can be the real victory.
What seemingly impossible conflict in your life could benefit from a shift in perspective? Could an adversary become an ally? Could a shared challenge help you understand someone better?
Those are great questions to think about.
And on that note, we've come to the end of our deep dive. Thanks for joining us for this journey of rivalry, change, and the surprising power of connection.